This is the first Varshan kill of 100 in Season 8. Is there a Belial spawn? Ho ho ho! Belial! Does he drop a Mythic unique? No. We only find a 1-star Ring of Red Furor. Unfortunately, not an upgrade. But fortunately, he can drop more uniques than in previous seasons, so let's see if we can find an upgrade. On run 4, we find a 1-star Mother's Embrace. Also, a Nagu rune. On run 14, we find a 2-star Third Blade. On run 19, we find a 2-star Ramamalani's Magnum Opus. On run 20, we have a Belial spawn. Does he drop a Mythic unique? No. We find a 1-star Mother's Embrace. The amount of runs where both Varshan and Belial dropped loot with no greater affixes at all was 50 runs. On run 28, we find a Mythic unique. Ho ho ho! A Shroud of False Death. Mythic, baby! But then I was interrupted by Belial. Does he drop a Mythic unique? No. We find a 1-star Ring of Red Furor. Also, a 1-star 100,000 Steps. On run 34, we have a Belial spawn. Does he drop a Mythic unique? No. We find a 1-star Ring of the Ravenous. The number of uniques that had exactly 1 greater affix from both Varshan and Belial was 56 uniques. On run 35, we have a Belial spawn. Does he drop a Mythic unique? No. We find a 1-star Fields of Crimson. Also, a 1-star Tusk Helm. On run 42, we have a Belial spawn. Does he drop a Mythic unique? No. We find a 1-star Mother's Embrace. The amount of consecutive runs where Belial did not spawn was 18 runs in a row. On run 48, we have a Belial spawn. Does he drop a Mythic unique? No. We find a 1-star Azurath. On run 51, we have a Belial spawn. Does he drop a Mythic unique? No. We find a 1-star Fields of Crimson. Also, a 1-star Frostburn. The amount of times Belial spawned in the 100 runs was 15 times. On run 54, we have a Belial spawn. Does he drop a Mythic unique? No. We find a 1-star Frostburn. Also, a 1-star Ring of Red Furor. While farming Grim Favors, we find a 2-star Legendary One-Handed Axe. Oh, Strength and Maximum Life! Damn! Damn! This could have been so good! If it was only a sword. While farming more Grim Favors, we find a Gem Goblin. Oh, a Gem Goblin! Ah, yeah, baby! Oh, and he drops an Igni rune. An Igni rune, baby! While doing different Grim Favors, we find a 3-star Legendary Gloves. Whoa! Damn. Not too bad, something I don't need. On run 63, we have a Belial spawn. Does he drop a Mythic unique? No. We find a 1-star Mother's Embrace. On run 64, we have a Belial spawn. Does he drop a Mythic unique? No. We find a 1-star Frostburn. On run 69, we find a Mythic unique. Ho ho ho! A 1-star Shroud of False Death. The purples, baby! Also, a 1-star Gore's Devastating Grips. On run 74, we have a Belial spawn. Does he drop a mythic unique? No. We find a 1-star Ring of Red Fur. On run 88, we find a 2-star Gore's Devastating Grips. On run 91, we find an Igni rune. On run 98, we find a 1-star Gore's Devastating Grips. Also, a Yule rune. The number of legendary runes that dropped over the 100 runs was 3 legendary runes. I found one more doing whispers. On run 100, the final run, do we get a Belial spawn?
I expect you'll need that.
No. There was nothing. 2 mythics from Varshan and Belial. Wow.